welcome to the Get Ready with God podcast. My name is Julie Taylor, and I'm your host, and I am not God, obviously. I'm not an expert. I'm not even a scriptorian. I'm literally just a girl sitting in front of a microphone, hoping God is real. The Get Ready with God podcast is the daily devotional podcast to help you see divinity in every day. I still remembered that even after our break, our very first podcast break. And I know that for you, it is midweek, but for me, this is actually the first one I'm recording after the break, which I knew would throw me. But I am grateful that I had those other episodes this week. But just to let you know where I am mentally, if you're a daily listener, today is actually the first one I'm recording post break. And as predicted and as hoped for, I feel like a different person. I came out of this break a different person than I went in, but I still stand by, those other two episodes. So it's all good. The best thing that came out of my break personally was my new bedazzling hobby. I have bedazzled everything that I can think of to bedazzle. I've ran out of gems. And actually, just a few minutes ago, my new delivery just arrived with more gems and more glue, which is good because you can't actually get them. Like, I checked all my local craft stores and I could not find an in-person place to buy them. So I have more and I will be doing more. And it is who I am now. So welcome to the first hyperfixation of the year. Happy to have you. Okay, today, new year, same conversation. I want to talk about the sky. Something the sky taught me on one of my walks in these last few weeks. And this whole next few episodes is going to be a little bit of a New Year series, just because for the first time that I can remember, I'm going into this year with some hopes and dreams and some goals, and they just look very, very different than they used to. And the goals that I have, there's not a single achievement on the list. And it's just because my values have shifted, and I genuinely don't value achievement in the same way that I used to. And so when I looked at last year, some of the achievements that came out of last year, I think would have been the banner moments in a different phase of life. But in this phase of life, they felt like byproducts of living the way that I want to live. And I'm really grateful for that. And I feel like I had a lot of gifts of this last year. It was really the first year, genuinely, since I moved back to Utah, that I ended the year kind of thinking that year did not suck. It was okay. The year was okay. And so usually I'm coming into January in a really low place and very much in survival mode, a little bit hopeless, especially, the last few years have been colored with grief. And I just didn't know if I could dream again or if I'd ever find ambition again. And I do have ambition again, but it is not achievement based in the way that it used to be. So anyways, this year, what does feel good to me is just kind of getting reflective and intentional about where I'm at, what I want more of, what I want less of, what I want to keep doing. And just in a really soft way, just kind of examining things and kind of taking a state of the union and seeing what shifts to make. But I will say my biggest thought going into this new year is just I wonder what will happen. I can't wait to see what happens. So there's so much that we can't control. And there's so much that I actually don't want to control because I'm tired. And I really want to focus on preparing myself to handle life circumstances and to be resilient and to be strong and to do it rather than to try to force circumstances into existence. And that just feels better to me right now. So that's kind of where I'm at. But over the break, I was on a walk, shocker, watching the sky, shocker. And I just had this thought come to me because the sky is changing constantly, right? We've talked about this before. And truly the only FOMO I get in my life is missing a good sky. It just is so fleeting. At the end of my street is a lake. And so I can get to a very good sky view very quickly. But even if I look out the window and then hop in my car even and try to drive to a viewing point where it's better, even in that 2 minutes, sometimes the peak is gone. The best viewing is gone. And it just changes so quickly. We've had these conversations before. But this week, as I was walking and just noticing how fleeting it was and how it couldn't be captured, and it really can't be shared or explained. It's just such an experience to experience a good sky. And I just thought about how it demands presence. And in that presence, we are invited to transcendence. Okay. And you guys know that I love words. So I really loved saying it that way. Let me see what I wrote exactly. Yes. Presence is the ticket to transcendence. But I just love that feeling of kind of transcendence. Like that's what it feels like to me when you feel like really connected to the divine, you feel really inspired and you feel like really creative and whatever that looks like for you. For me, that's what that feels like. It feels like you are transcending like the pain and the limits of this world. And time with the sky does that for me. But it demands full presence. When I'm fully present, that is when I can kind of achieve this transcendence. And it's becoming increasingly important as our attention is demanded other places and as we are able less and less and less to be fully present. When you are fully present, it's only then, I think, that the divine can access you. And sometimes I think that inspiration will interrupt, like you'll be stopped or you'll be interrupted or you'll be kind of like snapped out of it to pay attention. But more often than not, when we choose to be fully present, we tend to be more creative, more connected. We do better work. Like nobody is actually good at multitasking. And yet in our world, we are all multitasking all of the time. Getting ourselves to that point where we're fully in a conversation with someone, really able to connect, or we're really connecting with the divine, or we're like really opening ourselves up for inspiration and guidance. It's when we're fully present. And it's really, really hard to do that in our world, not just because we are like tempted to pick up our phone constantly, but it's almost becoming expected of our culture that you'll respond to a text right away, that you'll answer your phone, that you'll share your location, that you'll respond. And when someone asks you to do something, the turnaround time is so quick. And I have a lot of that. There's just a lot of demands on me all of the time. And over the break, some of those stopped. Not all of them, but some of them stopped. And in that space, I was just able to see like just how much that constant demand on my energy and attention is taking away from my ability to connect and to create and to transcend the things that I want to transcend. It's a line we have to walk. I have to play in the world and I have to deal with demands and be able to handle that. But I also really want to be intentional and responsible with my energy. I'm going to talk more about that in a different episode, but presence is the ticket to transcendence. Maybe that doesn't feel true for you, but it's just something that I've been thinking about a lot as I have felt, especially these last few months, like very disconnected, go through the motions of life and nothing feels deeply meaningful. Nothing feels really helpful, just kind of like skirting by. And I think all of the goodness that came for me these last few weeks was because I finally had the time to learn the lesson that I need to be a lot more present, which again, old news. Old news. We've been hearing this narrative for a very long time, but if that is something that rings true to you, try it. Try it. And I don't think being present means that we're always just sitting in a meditative state. Doing something like bedazzling was really helpful for me. Going on a walk and not listening to anything and just like staring at the sky for a minute, just for like 2 minutes, stand there. When you're out with a friend, go on Do Not Disturb and really be there. But just, I don't know. It's so cliche that I hesitate to even say it, but just like where in your life can you be more present? Where can you show up with more presence? And then really like think about the gifts that come from that presence, because I think that helps motivate us to prioritize it and to try a little bit harder. And for me, it is those feelings of transcendence of the things of this world that I want to go above and beyond. Anyways, Happy New Year for real. Glad we're back. Glad to be back with you. Love you. Bye.